Thanks you, Chair and the Co-Chair, and good afternoon, everyone. This presentation is about establishment of regional flood information system. There's a small change, slight difference from the title you see. The title talks about forecasting and early warning, but the presentation mainly talks about establishment of a system that facilitates or expected to facilitate forecasting and early warning. My name is Krishna. I work with ICIMOD as a disaster risk reduction team leader in water and hazards unit. First of all, I want to share my acknowledgements with the people who have actually put this presentation together. Okay, now coming to some basics and some background of the project. Very briefly on the context. The river basins of, this is a map that shows the river basins of Hindu Kush and Himalayan region. That's where the basic geographical coverage of this project. As you are aware, there are over 10 rivers flowing in this region in different countries, and some of them are carrying heavy amounts of floods, especially during the monsoon seasons, causing havoc and damage because of different capacities in the countries to manage these floods and forecast the floods and mitigate the flood devastation. There are many estimations of several billions of people are affecting. We don't really have official census of how many people are exactly affected, but it is generally stated that over 1.5 billion people are in different ways are affected by the floods flowing from these mountains. And the key issues in HKH region, especially with reference to the floods, transboundary rivers and transboundary conflicts. The major problem about the floods is not just floods alone. The floods are flowing through different political and geographical boundaries. And floods don't know the boundaries, but the boundaries, because the boundaries are invisible, boundaries are political and social in nature. And we have to manage the flood not only on geological terms, but also on social and political terms. That's a major challenge that we have. And before going to other points, I want to make a note here that this presentation will mainly talk about the coordination and management parts of this using flood information system. It does not talk about the technological aspects because I'm not a technological person. There are more competent people in our project who are managing that aspect. Second issue is the scarcity or absence of data and information on fresh water resources. Tremendous amount of work has happened still. Compared to the intensity of problem, the data that we have is not really sufficient. And obsolescence of observing networks, different degrees of technological capacities in networks in different countries, insufficient data management capabilities, institutional weakness of national hydrological services. There are some institutions are very highly advanced with high level capacities. Some hydrological institutions have very low level capacities. And the data exchange between these different institutions and understanding and interpreting the data for forecasting and early warning is also varied across the countries. The project I am talking about is part of a regional component of the World Hydrological Cycle Observation System, which is essentially promoted by World Meteorological Organization in different parts of the world. The concept of this project is to build the capacity for water resources assessment at the national, river basin and regional level, national level and the regional level, assessing the capacity of water resources and how to use them, how to mitigate excess problems of excesses. Promoting regional cooperation in collection, transmission, processing and archiving of hydrological data and information. This is the basic concept of this project. The goal, the overall goal is to minimize the loss of lives and property by reducing flood vulnerability in the HKH region. The objectives are strengthen technical and institutional capacities of hydrological services at the regional level and at the national level, promote and facilitate dissemination and use of water-related information, establish a network of key national stations, and simply put, what we are trying to do is making information, which is the data, travel faster than the floods, so that we have adequate time between a flood event and the response that follows to save lives and to reduce the damage. This project is in 3 phases. The phase 1 was over, which was the feasibility study and infrastructure testing between 2005 and 2008. Phase 2, which is now going on, we have completed about 1 year of the phase 2. Detailed planning and pilot project implementation. Establishment of regional flood, that's what we call establishment of regional flood information system. The phase 3 will begin after 2012 in the river basins of Ganges, Brahmaputra, Jamuna and Mahakali. The regional country partners are Bangladesh, Bhutan, China, Nepal and Pakistan. Collaborators USGS, NOAA and other international technical institutions. Sponsors. Right now this phase of the project is sponsored and financially funded by Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Government of Finland. We thank them. And in the previous phase, the project was funded by USDS, USAID and OFDA. And the main facilitating agencies are ICIMOD and World Meteorological Organization. In the countries, the specific country partners in Bangladesh, Water Development Board and Meteorological Department. In Bhutan, Department of Energy and Department of Geology. In China, Meteorological Administration and Bureau of Hydrology of Ministry of Water Resources. In India, Central Water Commission and the Meteorological Department. In Nepal, the Department of Hydrology and Meteorology and Department of Water Induced Disasters Prevention. In Pakistan, Meteorological Department and the Federal Flood Commission. These are the institutional partners from these different countries. The main components of the project are framework for cooperation, regional flood observation network, regional flood information system, training and public awareness, planning of a full-scale regional project, which is towards the end of the project, based on the infrastructure, the cooperation that we build and create in this phase. We are going to upscale the project in order to make much more practical end use of the achievements that we make. Under the framework for cooperation, the key components are the commitment of participating countries to a framework for regional cooperation, the most important aspect. Out of 20 minutes, I have 2 minutes left. Is it a time reduced or I have completed 18 minutes? Sorry? 15 minutes. No, just a clarification. No, I have no objection. I will finish in 2 minutes. I am not protesting or anything. Just my clarification. The key component of the project is a framework for cooperation. It is, as I mentioned, that the main focus of the presentation is that the sharing our experiences of how we are coordinating this regional collaboration and cooperation flood information system sharing. Because flood mitigation and flood risk reduction is not just possible with the technology, availability of technology, what are the advances we make in the technology, but the end use of the technology should have a proper framework for cooperation, especially in the transboundary river situation. Creation of a regional flood observation network, because there are different, as I mentioned, the different degrees of network systems availability. ICIMOD and the WMO ensures that there is some level of equality in terms of the quality of networks and functioning of the networks in different countries, for which we upgrade the technology and we provide necessary software and hardware. There's a criteria that we follow in terms of selecting the station that you can check with me during the break because we don't have time now. And we try to ensure smooth transmission of data and information between the countries and effective data and information transmission, strengthening national and regional databases and the data management systems, and the redistribution of data according to the standards that we set up and we agree. And we follow certain principles and process. The fundamental principle that is very, very important for a cooperation, ensuring the cooperation in this kind of situation is that we make countries feel and believe that, and we also believe that the countries are the owners of the data they generate. This system, meteo-based communication systems, satellite-based data collection platforms, data communication networks and services, and the internet. And another important component is training of staff in equipment installation, operation and maintenance, common protocol for data collection and telemetry, training of staff and database management, training on flood risk management, training on flood modeling and forecasting and early warning, data dissemination, public awareness and sensitizing. These are the various number of management components that ICIMOD and WMO operate together in order to make sure that the institutions involved in this project are able to fully utilize these services. So this is the next phase project where after the end of this project we do this. And current status, a good foundation developed for promoting regional cooperation. And we identified the needs and priorities of the participating countries in different locations. And there is a demonstrated willingness, and this is not a no mean task, bringing different countries together to be willing to share data and cooperate with each other. That is the fundamental achievement of this project. I would recommend you to go to this website to know more about this project. And we also welcome your comments and your input so that we can strengthen this project further. Please take note of the website name. Okay, I'll move on from here. Main challenges and lessons, the data inconsistency that all of you must be aware that we always face, and creating some kind of level of coherence in the data. Inadequate or non-existent database management systems in different countries, it's a varying capacities. Inadequate and unsystematic data holdings, difficulty to interpret data formats. That's the main challenge. That's why this facilitation and coordination is required. We have very good systems in ICIMOD from our IT section and the memories, and we also have dedicated database management specialists for ensuring this. Internet connectivity is the speed and the stability varies in different locations. The need for delegation sometimes is a management problem. That's in many countries the specific people are responsible for this, and when they are on leave, and the delegation was a major problem, and the ownership from individual to institution is a major management issue everywhere, also in ICIMOD and other places. So that is another challenge we face and the lessons we learn. So this is very briefly the project, and I would, on behalf of Water and Hazard Unit of ICIMOD, thanks Menris for enabling us to introduce this project to you. And thank you very much for your attention. We welcome your inputs and your comments. Thank you, Chair.
Comments or queries, suggestions? Since you have to the observation stations, hydrometeorological stations.
Yes.
Because for forecasting, I mean, that is one. So how many of those stations you have, I mean, really real-time or near real-time access?
I don't know. We have about 36 stations like that, and all 36 stations are expected to provide real-time data. But I don't have exact information as of now how many stations are providing, because the data is processed in the countries and before coming to us.
But that means it is not then real-time. I mean, for forecasting, when we have to do the flood forecasting, we should have really the real time.
That's true.
So if it comes, let us say, after processing 1 or 2 days, so we can't forecast.
No, it's not 1 or 2 days. It is also real time processing. So it's not that the data comes and stores somewhere and somebody processes and somebody puts on the internet. But it is a principle that we agree that instead of from the specific hydrological station,